Hello, boys and girls. Today we are in our Go Math book working on page 19. Okay, here's our number 19. So you're going to open up to page 19. You can pause the video while you are doing that. Okay, now we're on page 19. Okay, it says, read the following problem. There are 6 children on the playground. 2 more children join them. How many children are on the playground? Okay, so let's go back to that. There are 6 children on the playground. So let's make our number 6. And then we're going to draw 6 circles to represent the 6 children. Okay. When you're finished making your circles, go back and count them again. If you need more time, feel free to pause at any time, okay? 2 more children join them. So I'm going to make the number 2. I'm going to draw 2 circles for my 2 children that join them. How many children are on the playground? Well, we had 6 kids and then 2 more joined them. That means we got 2 more. So guess what I'm going to add to my work? I'm going to add this plus sign right in the middle, because if 2 more children join them, that means we are adding, we're getting more. So we put our plus sign in the middle. Then we need our equal sign, because we have 6 plus 2 equals. So we are making our addition sentence. All right, now to see how many children are all together on the playground, we need to count all of our circles. So go ahead, you can hit the pause button, count all your circles, and then come back. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 children at the playground. So hopefully you had the number 8. If you need to stop at any time, go ahead and do that. I'm going to turn the page. Okay. Up at the top, we're going to look at these turtles. 5 turtles and 2 more turtles. So here's our 5 turtles. Here's our picture of 2 turtles. And it tells us 5 plus 2 equals 7. Okay, here's our plus sign, just like we put on the other page. Here's our equal sign. Okay, and then our sum is 7. So remember, sum is the answer to a plus problem. Okay, so if we take the 5 plus the 2, which means we put them together, we count them all together, and it equaled 7. I'm going to trace over this 7. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These 5 turtles plus 2 more turtles equals 7. 7 is our sum, it's the answer. And then they have it written down here together. 5 plus 2 equals 7. It's an addition sentence. Remember our vocabulary that we looked at before? Okay, this is called an addition sentence. Now we're going to work on the problems down below. It says, use circles to show adding to. Draw the circles, write the sum. Okay, so a lot of times they'll show us this, boys and girls, and for this we just make our circles. All right, so for addition problems, I'm going to show you a trick to help you with making your circles so that you keep them neat together, makes it easy for you to count. So when we have a problem going across, we can make our circles going up right on top of the number. Just kind of like how they did in our pictures up here, but we're going to make them a little bit easier to count, a nice neat stack. So we have 3 cats and 1 more cat, or the problem 3 plus 1 equals something. So for our number 3, we're going to make 3 circles right on top. Do you see how I made a nice neat stack right here? Okay, I want you to make sure that you do that as well. This will make it easier for you in the long run when we get to harder problems. Here's 3 plus 1. So we need to add one more circle. We're going to put it right on top. Equals blank. So now we need to see if we have 3 plus 1 more. What is our sum? What does it equal? So let's count them all. 1, 2, 3, 4. It equals 4. Now, I don't need a picture on top of this, just like none of the other ones had pictures on top, because this is the sum. That means this 4 is the same as these 4 circles over here. Okay, so my answer does not get a picture on top of it. Okay, if you need to pause at any time, go ahead and do that. Let's look at this problem. 2 birds and 3 more birds, or 2 plus 3. So again, we're going to do our circles. Yes, you might not need circles at this point, but we want to practice that because when it tells us to draw it, we need to make sure that we include our picture because it shows up later when we have tests and things like that. We need our pictures. All right, so we have 2, so I'm going to draw 2 circles on top of my first number. 2 plus 3. So how many circles do I need? Hopefully you said 3. I'm going to draw my 3 circles. Make sure you're following along as we're doing this. 2 plus 3 equals, well, let me count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 plus 3 equals 5. 5 is our sum, the answer to our plus problem. Okay, if you haven't done this part yet in your book, make sure you do that now. Hopefully you were doing it along with me as I was making my circles. I'd like you to work on number 3 and number 4. You can pause the video. Okay, when you hit play, we'll check our answers. All right. All right. All right, boys and girls, hopefully you finished working on these problems. Let's go over the answers. So you had 4 bugs and 4 more bugs. So you should have 4 circles. 4 plus 4, 4 more circles. Okay, and when you count them all together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you should have the number 8. So hopefully you did that before you hit the play button. Then on this side, you had 4 plus 2. So hopefully you had 4 circles plus 2. So you had 2 more circles. And then to find your answer, you add them all together. You count them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so hopefully you had those answers filled in on that page. Remember, again, you want to try to pause and work without just copying my answers. Okay, if you need to fix something, you can do that now. If not, then we're going to move on to the next page. So again, remember, pause at any time. Okay, here's our next page. All right, so we are going to use our circles again, and then they want us to write the sum or the answer to the plus problem, okay, our addition sentence. 5 dogs and 4 more dogs, okay, so we're going to do our circles. 4 plus 3. So I want you to work on these 2 problems, okay, you'll hit the pause, work on these 2 problems, and then when you come back, we'll check our answers. All right, let's check our answers. So you should have had 5 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when you counted them all, it equaled 9. Same thing on this side. 4 plus 3, you should have 4 circles, then 3 circles. And when you counted them all, it equaled 7. All right. If you need to pause to fix your answer, you can. We're going to look at number 7 next. Okay. These math on the spot videos, see how you see this? In our math section on Google Classroom, I added an area where you has extra practice. You can actually watch the video that goes along with the problem. Sometimes it's the same problem, sometimes it's a similar problem, but there's an extra practice on there for all of chapter 1, and you'll see these math on the spot videos. So if you're interested, feel free to go on and check them out. Julia has 4 books on the table. I'm going to circle my number 4. She puts 1 more book on the table. So I'm going to circle my 1. Then she puts 2 more books on the table. How many books are on the table? So I'm going to reread this one more time, and I want us to think about this problem as I do. Julia has 4 books on the table. She puts 1 more book on the table. Then she puts 2 more books on the table. How many books are on the table? Okay, so we're going to use a picture to draw out our work. So Julia has 4 books on the table. So let's draw our 4 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then she puts 1 more book on the table. I'm going to put my 1 more book. Then she puts 2 more books on the table. So then I'm going to put my 2. How many books are on the table? So we had our 4 books, then 1 more book, then 2 more books. Well, how do we find our answer? What do we do? Well, hopefully you said we count all the circles to see how many books are on the table now. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 books on the table. Okay, so if you need to pause, you can. Now, this you don't have to put on your paper, but I'm going to show you on mine just so you have an idea about this problem and what it would look like if we wrote it out. So we started off with 4 books on the table. Then we had 1 more book. Then we had 2. Well, each time we're getting more, so we need to use our plus sign. So we had 4 books, then we added 1 more book. Then we need our plus sign again because we got more books. So we had 4, then we had 1 more, then we had 2 more. And I can put my equal sign, and we found that when we added all these together, it equals 7. So this is my addition sentence if I were to write it out. Now you don't need to pause and add that in unless you want to. Okay, but it's just showing us that we can add all these numbers together. All right, let's look at the bottom. Go deeper. Diego drew cubes to show adding 2. Draw to show how Diego should fix his picture. Write the sum. Okay, so when it tells us that we need to fix his picture, that means there's something wrong with this picture. It's not right. We need to fix it to get the right answer. So it's showing 2. Well, does this show 2 right here? Yes, it does. Plus 8. So these cubes right here should have 8. Let's count them and see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh no, it doesn't need 7. It should have 8. So we need to make 8. So if there's 7, we need 1 more to make 8. So now that we added our 1 more cube, let's count them and see if that makes 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we have 8 cubes. We fixed his picture. It says write the sum. Well, here we have a picture of 2. Here we have a picture of 8. So to find our sum, that means we need to add them all together. So let's count them all. Ready? So you can pause or you can count along with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 blocks all together. So 2 plus 8 equals 10. 10 is our sum or our answer. Okay, if you need to fix anything at this point, just pause the video. Okay, and then when you're finished, you can turn the page. Okay. On this page, it looks a little tricky, but it isn't as difficult as you think. So let's take a closer look. Use the picture to help you complete the addition sentences. Write the sum. Okay, so up here, see how we have triangles, squares, circles. There's another group of circles, another group of triangles, another group of squares. So we are going to use these shapes to help us figure out how many in all. So it says blank triangles plus blank triangles equals blank triangles in all. So let's look at our picture. Look at this first row. How many triangles are there? 1, 2, 3. So we're going to put 3 for the first group, 3 triangles because we have a group of 3. Plus, look at our other group. How many's in there? 2. So 3 triangles plus 2 triangles. So how many does that equal in all? Well, what we need to do is count all the triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 triangles in all. Now we're going to do the same thing with the circles. Now, I'm going to tell you something. It doesn't matter if we start with this group or this group. It's still going to be the same because our numbers are going to stay the same. So why don't we start with this group right here? Because we usually go, when we're reading something, we go from left to right. So look how many triangles are right there. 3. That's going in our first blank. Plus blank triangles. How many triangles are over here? I'm sorry, how many circles are over here? 1 circle. Sorry for the confusion there. So we have 3 circles plus 1 circle. So let's find out how many in all. So we need to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 circles in all. Now we're going to do the same thing for the squares. I'd like you to use this picture and see if you can fill this in. Pause the video, fill in the squares, and then hit play when you're finished. Okay, here are 3 squares, and here we have 3 squares. So they want to know how many squares in all. Well, if you counted all of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you found there were 6 in all. So if by some chance you made a mistake when you were doing this on your own, you can erase and fix it. Okay, just pause the video. Let's look at the last one. 3 plus 5, or 3 bunnies and 5 more bunnies. So we need to draw our circles to go along with this. I'd like you to do this one on your own. Pause the video, work on your circles, fill in your answer, and then hit play. Okay. All right. You have 3 plus 5, okay? And then we need to see how many do we have all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you should have had the answer 8. Hopefully you drew your circles as well, because remember, the circles are important when it asks us to draw a picture. All right, boys and girls, remember we don't do this page over here. We are going to go back onto Google Classroom, go into Think Central, Things to Do, and you're going to work on your PMT, Personal Math Trainer 1.2. That goes along with our lesson for today.